we have a limited orbit. We can't spin around and can't have thousands of others spinning around us. So where do we choose to spend our time?
Welcome to the Ignited Recovery Podcast, a new way forward for anyone looking for answers but feeling left out. If you've been searching for empowerment, triumph, and purpose, you've found them right here. You won't hear the same solutions, and you're not going to have any excuses to fall back on, because Ignited Recovery allows heroes to rise and become their best selves. I'm Dr. Sophie Jaffe, and I can't wait to be your guide on this journey. Are you ready to become an ignited hero?
I was hanging out with a friend, and he's a little bit of a nerd, a geek, a tinker. He's an engineer, and he loves playing around with stuff constantly. And one of his latest passions was he bought a special telescope to look at the sun. Two things. First of all, you're always told not to look at the sun. So right off the bat, I'm intrigued. Because if you tell me I can do something I'm not allowed to do, my ears perk up. How fast can we do it? When? What do I need to bring? That's sort of the way my brain works right away. So it's a special telescope that has a ton of filters, obviously to cut away enough of the light so we can stare at it. Pretty cool experience anyway. But he sets it up and he allows me to look through it. And we've all seen pictures of the sun, or we've all learned about the sun at some point. Maybe it was junior high, maybe it was high school last time it happened for us. But there is something magical about being able to go look at it. Like as it is, not now, however many thousands of light years have passed since whatever it is I'm looking at, but as close to now as I'm allowed to look into. And we were looking at it, and you actually see these solar hydrogen flares coming off of the sun, right? It's a circle. It's a planet in a way. It's a star, I guess, like the rest of us, but made of the same materials. But the heat and the magma and everything that's sort of exists there has these rivers of essentially lava, but superheated lava, and they're so strong, and the solar winds are so strong. There's these flares, these glowing orange flares coming off of it. And we were looking at it for a while. The kids were jumping on the trampoline. And we ended up getting into this discussion about really the magic of it all. And he brought this into it. I'm not incredibly religious, but there's this magic to the fact that this incredibly large, thousands and thousands of times larger than the Earth star exists so far, exactly as far away from us as we need it to be to heat us up, given our atmosphere exactly to the right temperature so that life could exist here and water could survive and not constantly be evaporated. And then that sometimes our moon sits exactly in the right position to hide this massive star, exactly in such a way that we get an eclipse. Like all these things that we just sort of live through, so we take for granted, they are magical and they're happening around us all the time. And as we were having this conversation, I immediately, maybe because we were going to have this group the next day, but I immediately went into the magic of the relationship of all, the interrelatedness of all of it. Because it's definitely true that the sun is magnificent. But part of the reason that it's magnificent is the impact that it has on what happens here, right? The amount of energy that it sends off that allows life to exist here. And the reason, there are millions of reasons why the moon is incredible. And at least part of it is the fact that it gives us these magical occurrences of the eclipse where it just blocks out sunlight in this crazy, weird way. And we get to have this beautiful, magical experience every, few months, couple of times a year. And then I went farther into it, which is, if any of these bodies were different, if they weighed less, weighed more, spun faster, spun slower, the entire solar system would have to change, right? Everything would have to be different because it all depends, right? We're all spinning around each other in this way due to our size, due to our mass, due to the speed at which we spin. And this might seem really astronomical when I'm talking about it in this way, but I think the same thing exists in our relationships. And sometimes in our lives, we're weary of being the brightest, most authentic versions of ourselves. But think about it for a second. If we change ourselves for anybody else, who are the people who are going to spin in our orbit? who are the other stars, the other humans that we're going to attract.
Hey everybody, it's Adi again, and I want to share with you something that I believe is one of the most useful free tools I've ever created for my clients and for you. It's our free, personalized My Drinking Score report. Look, you already know that at Ignited, we don't care much for labels, and we don't believe in any of those once a blah, 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 always a blah, blah, blah slogan. But if you are questioning your specific relationship with alcohol, you may be trying to figure out how to understand what you need to do and whether you're moving in the right direction. Well, then this completely free tool is for you and will give you the answers you're looking for. All you're gonna do is you're gonna take a 5-minute quiz answering simple questions that you know the answers to. And then like magic, our system is gonna spit out a custom report so that you can find out more about your relationship with alcohol and actually get guidance and help to some of the changes that you can individually make. I created this tool to give you a customized, personalized virtual resource that you can take at any time, and that makes it easy to get the exact recommendations and steps that you need to help eliminate your struggles. Anybody can take it, and did I mention that it's completely 100% free? Well, it is. So stop running around in circles trying to figure out why you're having a hard time getting sober and get real solutions and guidance to help transform your life and get ignited forever. Just pause this audio right now and go to ignited.com/go. Again, that's ignited.com/go and take our 5-minute quiz right now. Find out what your drinking score is and then share it and tag us on Instagram or Facebook, because remember, fuck shame. Together, we get to move forward and get better every day.
We are going to attract the people who are in the orbit of whoever it is we're pretending to be. And if we're doing that, we better be damn sure we're going to like the people who spin around that orbit, or we're screwing ourselves. By virtue of us not being the most authentic version of ourselves, we've taken ourselves into another solar system. Right? We've said, I don't want to be in my natural orbit. I want to be over there. And so then the moon, will be farther or closer to you. The people you love will be farther or closer from you. People you couldn't stand, don't like at all, don't want to have a single conversation, might be further or closer to you, might play a bigger or smaller role in your life. And in that way, unlike what we have with the planets and the stars, I thought it was a really cool way of thinking about the relationship between us and other people. We have a limited orbit. We can't spin around and can't have thousands of others spinning around us. So where do we choose to spend our time? Where do we choose to insert ourselves? Into what system? Into what solar family? I think a lot of times for many of us, that choice was made, I'll say it subconsciously, or at least implicitly. We didn't make it. We didn't sit there and go, okay, what do I want my life to look like because of who do I want around me? But now we don't have to be like that anymore. We don't have to just let it haphazardly occur around us. We get some choice. I didn't choose what elementary school I went to. I didn't really choose what high school I went to. I didn't choose really where my parents moved when we were 14 years old. But I control all those things now. And so in a way, I get this really incredible, empowering realization, which is, oh crap, if I don't like what's spinning around me right now, and maybe what I'm spinning around right now, all I have to do is recognize that's all up to me. I get to make active choices in that. And especially if we just left a long relationship and we're kind of restarting life, or if we're waiting for the right set of people to show up around us, especially if those things are happening, instead of jumping on opportunities just because they present themselves without putting a lot of thought into, wait, if I pursue this, does this create the kind of environment that I want to live in? Not because I enjoy it right now, but because I'm going to love where I live 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. this is the moment. So many of us didn't put that thought into almost anything when it first started because we weren't aware we had that much control. So from a telescope looking at the sun, I really started saying to myself, what else? What other planets, stars, moons are orbiting in my life that I want to release? And where are there some that maybe I haven't called in yet, or I haven't connected myself tightly enough to, in order to really give them the place that I think they deserve in my life?
Thank you for tuning in to the Ignited Heroes Recovery Podcast. I really hope you found the information here useful and that we'll see you back here next week. And look, I want to make sure that this podcast is the most useful it can be for you, so please let me know by emailing info@ignited.com if there are any specific topics or questions you'd like to have addressed. As usual, if you like this episode, I would love for you to leave us a 5-star review and rating. Thanks, and see you next week.